Hello everybody. Today going to be doing a little bit of a knife collection video. I thought this would be a good idea because I've kind of amassed an assortment of sharp objects, and I've brought out a couple things in front of you, and then I brought out a couple honorable mentions that are not sharp objects. So I'm going to go through all of this junk pile with you together, and I'll have some honorable mentions too in there, some things that are maybe not so quite conventional, and things that I think also are important. Maybe you might want to add some or none of these to your repertoire of, things that you have in that little toolbox that your wife keeps telling you to throw away. So, just a couple little doodads, just a couple little knickknacks. So grab a drink. I'm going to bring you through a bunch of these, and I'm going to start with the box knives that I got down here. So these are just Milwaukee branded box knives. This one's the all metal construction one where it has the little compartment for extra blades. That's really useful because if you're like me, you're going to be actually using this stuff. So having extra blades on hand is cool. This one's a little bit smaller and more lightweight. Those are cool, but I don't think as far as a defensive tool, I don't think they're really ideal. Obviously, the blade length is going to limit you. This one's just one with a carpet knife on the end of it. Good for cutting rope and stuff like that. So yeah, I got a couple of those. Pop knives are cool too. These little flat, razor blades, the standard utility blades. I don't know if you guys can see. I've got the Hobo Tactical sticker on there for extra swag points. It's the guy that makes these fine leather goods. If you're interested in stuff like this, check him out on Instagram, Hobo Tactical. This one's pink. Another honorable mention of an Instagram maker, slightly related to Hobo Tactical. You got Pressure Colt making these really sick bottle opener, dual purpose screwdriver NPE blades. So if you can kind of see for the reverse edge orientation here, I've got a decent amount of blade length, and because the blade is so thin, this is going to absolutely destroy soft tissue. So yeah, Pressure Colt on Instagram for that one. I got the Black Triangle Group. I think I will put the model name in the description, but this is a G10 knife. G10 blade, basically designed for situations where you can't have your standard fixed metal blade, similar to this Copus Designs Elvia, the ramped Elvia. If you guys can see, it's got the satin finish. It looks really cool. The wrap on this was actually not from Copus Designs. It's actually from Bright for War on Instagram. Just the words Bright, BRIGHT, for War. Josh Mason did the wrap for that. Really beautiful job. I actually sold my Copus Designs Elvias, these field knives. I sold mine. I had two or three of them. I sold both of them, and then someone was so kind as to give me this. So shout out to Ranch Ops on Instagram. Fixed blades are cool. Obviously, you can't always have a fixed blade on you for a number of reasons. Sometimes they're a little bit more difficult to carry depending on what you're wearing. Maybe you're in a situation where people don't really carry fixed blades with, some Sukamaki wrap on that, or you don't want your shirt to ride up. You don't want that to be visible. So maybe you carry a folding knife. This is more innocuous in your pocket, and then you can get it out basically instantly with this little wave feature catching on your pocket. A little bit of practice, that's basically as fast as your standard fixed blade. I really like those. I talked about pop knives earlier. This is a cool one from Will Puggers on Instagram. So he made that one. Obviously, I got mine. I think I may or may not still have these on my store. So check that out in the link in the description on my store. 3D printed this one. Literally just 3D printed a knife or the shape of kind of a knife object-ish with a small hole to guide these screws and a small indentation for the blade to fit in. And you'd be surprised how strong something like that is, even just in PLA. Yeah, so obviously a fixed blade is always faster than the folding knife, but a lot of these folding knives with the wave can be just as fast. If you're able to modify your knives and make them a little bit more defensive, that's always cool. But this is the exact knife that my dad carries, so it's kind of interesting. Frame lock knife, copper scales, D2 steel, so it's pretty good work knife. And I've seen his. I think I have photos and videos of his. It's pretty beat to shit. If you can modify your knives, like this Spyderco with the zip tie there on there, you can make them open pretty fast. You can actually get this out, just as fast as a fixed blade if you know what you're doing. Can't have a knife collection video without the Swiss Army knife, which this is, I don't know the model name, but this is the one with the tweezers. It's got tweezers and the file and the scissors. And I've got a little bead on there that glows in the dark. It helps if you've got this buried in a pouch somewhere deep in your bag, or you could carry it in your pocket. It makes it much easier to get that thing out and do little, small tasks. Speaking of small knives that are kind of useful, got a single edge carbide non-metal. I'm pretty sure this is non-metal, but maybe it is titanium. I don't know, but it's not. It's a non-ferrous. It's supposed to be non-ferrous. I don't know if I trust that. Don't know the brand that I got this. I don't even remember how I obtained this. But what I will say, stuff like this is easy to stash in little tiny places, and it's easy to have on you. And it's better to have something to cut something with in all situations than not. This is just a fun little cool thing from Pressure Colt. Same guy that made the Merc. That's what this is called. This is the Pressure Colt. This is the Merc, sorry, and this is the Pressure Colt Nomad. Sorry, got that backwards. Got a little bead on there as well, or a little lanyard, but I'm missing the bead. It is somewhere around here. Glows in the dark as well. Pen knives like this are really cool. This one is super borked. I need to work on this one, try to polish it. It's going to take some serious work. This one has been neglected, and when I found it, it looked even worse than the current state that it's in. But, like all your tools, you got to try and maintain them as to the best of your ability. Cool little guy on Instagram, little knife maker, FN Knives, made this one. A little Pikal style, single edge, almost neck knife, I would say, like a micro, I guess like a micro blade, tiny fixed blade. Obviously not ideal, but even a sack of change can change someone's disposition, and that blade is probably still better than the sack of change. No shade at the hobo sack. Speaking of honorable mentions, before we go on with some of the other cooler blades, I wanted to save some of those for last. These G10 tools, the Mimics, and I forget what he calls this one, but little G10 tools like this from the Necro Maker, the.necro.maker on Instagram. Stuff like this is cool. It's very innocuous. It's very easy to stash and hide in different places. And obviously, you wanna be able to give yourself options even in your non-permissive environment. And same with this pen. Just looks like a pen, but obviously it has a copper heated, or not a copper, it's a stainless heated, kind of patina tip on there, kind of interesting look to it, and it rubs off a little bit apparently with wear, because mine's got a little bit of patina. It's got a couple notches in the little hypodermic tip, but if you see that will do some damage, and that will change someone's opinions about what they're doing. Obviously, the hobo sacks kind of go anywhere that anything else can go, and obviously if you're just carrying change in it, there's really nothing weaponry about that. So, and because of the way it looks, it's not, saps and stuff like that are not very common anymore. I don't think people carry those change saps as much as, certain states have limitations on things like that, but my state doesn't. So, certain places you can go with that, certain places you can't. I'm not telling you what to do. This isn't legal advice, but just like all these things on this table, you got to use your best judgment when you're carrying them around. A lot of really cool. There's a lot of really cool stuff on this table that's unfortunately not legal in parts of the country, and that's a travesty to me. One of those things might be this little Copus Designs style. This is the Elvia style knife from, if I can, trying to get it to focus here. But yeah, this is a Creeper Knives version of the Elvia from Ed Calderon. Ed Calderon designed, obviously, the Copus Designs Elvia and the field knife. And this design is basically an exact copy of that, if not just a slight, geometric difference on that. Really a big fan of the Elvia style knives. I've had a bunch of them. This one definitely resembles it as well. The fruit knives like this. The Victorinox fruit knife obviously is very cool. It's interesting to me to see, what kind of comes and goes as the fads in the knife world, but this one is probably here to stay. This style knife is ridiculously cool, and the sheath for this one was made by Ruelas Tools, who he's made a lot of cool Elvia style knives, and this sheath basically for the static line in your waistband, this knife, Victorinox fruit knife. I bent the handle myself, modified it, put a little paracord on it, wrapped it with the Goon tape, the Goon Raid tape, which I've got right here. And it's a really good throwaway solution if you've got the sheath in your waistband and you pull the knife out and for whatever reason it needs to disappear. You're not going to end up hating your life. Like if you maybe had to throw away this Auxiliary Knives Tsume, Tsume. Auxiliary Manufacturing is the maker of this, and I kind of want to give you guys a close-up. So really cool blade. Obviously the wrap, if you guys can see, in a way, the wrap under there is really cool. This blade, super badass maker. And I appreciate him actually sending this knife my way. I won a giveaway, and I don't usually enter giveaways, but that was one I did enter because I decided this dude makes really cool stuff. And speaking of things I got for free, this Buck 110 was actually my dad's. This was actually my dad's Buck 110, and he did a lot of dastardly deeds with this thing back in the day when he was running around in the woods. And that's a cool knife that I always cherish, and I'm going to try to clean that one and polish it up as well. It's kind of fell by the wayside. A lot of the, like the Layol French kind of, I don't even know what you call this. I guess it's a cheese knife. Everything's a cheese knife when you're French. A surrender knife and a cheese knife. But yeah, speaking of not surrendering though, we got this USA-made Kershaw Lucha with the Flytanium scales. So if you guys are Balisong flippers, you'll know that it hurts a lot to have heavy scales. These light scales are pretty cool for flipping. I don't really know a lot of stuff on like how to flip these very well, but it is a really cool thing to play with. It is a really cool knife, and I'll probably end up getting a trainer blade. I think I can probably get a trainer blade that fits these scales as well, but I need to look into that. Yeah, I got some cheaper folding knives here. I'm holding some things back because I want to keep the end of this video juicy for the end and the retention and whatnot. But a couple little cool folders. Got the Kershaw lineup. This is a CRKT. It's good to have cheap little knives on you, in my opinion, or around you sometimes, because you can hand them off to people and you can potentially make a friend like this. It's not an expensive knife, but if I wanted to make a friend, could hand that to somebody. Hey, you need a knife? Here, cool. Just keep this one. I carry 3 on me. I'm a weirdo, and you might just make a friend for life. And this Kershaw Cinder, I think this is called. This is the Shuffle. I'm pretty sure this is the Shuffle, made in China. Not a very nice knife, but again, if you're handing it off, and they're probably just gonna beat the fuck out of it. CRKT Piet. Very good blade shape. Cut your lunches, cut your sandwiches in half with that one, or hand it off, to a homie. These Layol knives, kind of a staple in my family. I don't know if you guys can see the spine of the handle here, but it is a really cool, forged Layol. I forget what the kind of history there is behind these knives, but cut steaks, cut cheese, cut a lot of things with it. This one says, made in France, T12. Not sure the steel on that, but the craftsmanship is definitely there, and these are made in France, so it's not, you know, mass produced somewhere. Got a couple little cool things I want to show you before we end off this video. Obviously, I talked about folding versus fixed blades. This is the Spyderco Yojimbo 2, and this one, yeah, obviously Colorado, G10 black scales, compression lock, very cool. Blade shape designed by Michael Janich. You can see his mark on the blade. If I can get this to focus. Yep, there we go. So yeah, Michael Janich designed this one. Very cool knife, very nice action, very easy to open. Very cool blade, very nice. This is a knife that I've always wanted. Is it the most practical for, you know, opening cans and whatnot? No, but that's not really what it's designed for. It's more of a fighting knife, and yeah, obviously a fixed blade is preferable, but something like this Pioneer Woman is one of the staples that unfortunately is no longer available at Walmart. But you can see I attached a cardboard sheath, some goon tape, which you could use any type of tape really for that, and then some down to the bottom I added some Kevlar cord, and it was wrapped tightly as I could get it to help with the retention as well on the tip, and then to also allow me to draw the knife away with the Kevlar cord, so I can tie that to a belt loop, and I can carry this in basically any clothing in any, you know, time or place. And it's not a very heavy knife, although being a fixed blade and having a really rock solid handle, you could probably break the blade before you break the handle. And yeah, the only downside to a knife like this, it doesn't have a cross guard, so you need to be very careful not to let your hand go up onto the blade if you hit, you know, bone or something like that. But a lot of these knives are going to be kind of the exact same way with that sort of problem. But with that being said, can't show you guys knives without showing you one of my kitchen knives, the Dam Designs knives. I forget the name of this particular paring knife, but this is a bang for your buck value, good value in my estimation. And yeah, it's very similar to the Pioneer Woman, G10 scales, very good steel, I would say, very good construction, almost a little bit better feeling in the hand, like it feels like it was, you know, made for my hand, and in the same way that the Spyderco kind of does, where it fills up my hand in just the right way, and that's even with the pocket clip there. It still doesn't, you know, create that much of an issue. Same goes for something like this, the Black Triangle Group blade. You know, even in the forward position, the hammer style grip still feels very rock solid. Doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. And in the reverse orientation with kind of my index finger here, doesn't feel that much of a problem. Feels good. So that's kind of it for the collection here. I've shown you a lot of different knives from a lot of different makers, from the Kershaws to the, you know, Creeper Designs, or Creeper Knives, sorry, on Instagram, Elvia, the Copus Designs, Elvia, all the way down to something like this Pressure Colt, you know, fidget, almost, you know, strictly utility versus the, you know, mainly defensive, almost completely defensive knives. Some heirlooms, you know, some cool Spydercos that I picked up recently. Yeah, obviously not all of these knives are the most practical. Some of them are just cool. But I wanted to show them to you because I thought it would be make for an interesting video and kind of ask you guys what you guys have in your collection. So if you guys want to drop down in the comments below what knives you've got, if you've got any cool ones, if you've got any that are, you know, heirlooms, you've got any that have cool stories behind them. Some of these I picked up, you know, second, third, fourth hand, so it's kind of interesting to know the stories behind them. It's cool to make some of your own as well. And yeah, modify your stuff. Go out there, practice with your knives if you carry them for defensive purposes. You know, obviously you want to be able to get them out, but you want to maybe even potentially get them out quietly without, you know, visually quietly without people being able to, you know, see what's going down. You know, maybe you see the fight coming, but you need to kind of get the knife out without them knowing that you have one, etc. You know, obviously knives are dangerous. Plan accordingly, but keep one on you. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It ran kind of long, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Appreciate Appreciate you guys. See you in the next video.